And here we are. Aaron Whitlow.
I'm Brandon Spivey, and welcome to the Markout Movie Podcast. What are we doing
What are we
today,
doing
Aaron?
today, Brando?
Well, okay. We are doing Back to the Future 2. Yes.
But before we get into Back to the Future, I just saw that the Expendables 4 trailer has dropped. I haven't seen it. Brandon saw it. So we're going to do a quick reaction to that trailer. So let me do it. Here we go. And share. Let me go ahead and.
Welcome home, honey.
Do you read now?
What is this?
It's classified.
Coming with you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't invited.
Oh.
Nothing can stop me, I can't get enough. Playing with dangerous bad behavior.
Why is this like?
They call it bad behavior.
Hey, why are you here?
I got this situation where I need your help.
I need bad friends.
Was I'm the new guy?
This our sniper?
Don't worry
50
about it.
Cent?
I got a prescription scope.
Well, Hawkeyes, remember this face. Don't shoot it by accident.
Terrorists have taken possession of nuclear missiles on a cargo ship off the coast. If these babies go off, it'll be World War III.
Take cover!
To choose this life over friends, over family,
It's time to get loud.
Let's fly, baby!
Come on, bring it!
Choose not a life of imitation. Distant constitute the reservation.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Is that the biggest one you've got? Oh, it's way bigger than that.
That is nice to know. All right. Well, first thing I noticed, Terry Crews isn't in the trailer, so it tells me he's not returning.
There's a lot of people not returning.
I didn't see Jet. I guess Jet's retired, right?
Yeah. Arnold's not coming back.
It's not Expendables. It's not. The whole point of Expendables is you get a bunch of action stars together in one movie doing action stuff, like as a crew.
Yeah.
That's what made the first Expendable movies great. The second one was still entertaining. The third one not as much, but yeah, I'm not too excited about the Expendables.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be fun, but I know Stallone's not in it much. I think he shot his scenes in like a week. It makes me think he's going to die. But maybe it'll be fun. Maybe Statham can carry it with his
That's
new
what I was
cast.
wondering. Statham, it's going to become Statham's franchise.
That's the plan. I think this is going to flop hard, but he's got Meg. He's Fast X is out. I mean, I don't know if anything's really. I would hope Meg does well, but I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think this will do good though. It looks like a standard action movie, and it doesn't look like Expendables.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I was underwhelmed with the trailer, and plus you got Megan Fox in it. I'm not a huge Megan Fox person. I liked her in Till Death. I thought that she was good in that. And I hadn't really seen Jennifer's Body. I'm aware of it. I've never actually sat down and watched the whole thing. But yeah, and I don't really like the early Transformer movies. But yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get into our actual review topic, which is dun 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 dun. Dun. Back to the Future. Let's start out with a little bit of the trailer from Back to the Future. Oh, yep. Here we go. I heard Brandon smacking. That's great.
Do you remember the future?
You gotta come back with me. Where? Back to the future.
Are we back?
We're back.
What do you mean we're in the future?
October 21st, 2015.
Marty, we're going to be able to see our wedding.
Wow. Future. I gotta check this out, Doc.
Look what happened to your son. Don't talk to anyone. You've been looking. Don't touch anything.
I need to borrow your hoverboard.
And try not to look at anything. I didn't invent the time machine to win at gambling.
I can't lose.
I invented a time machine to travel through time.
Hey, Doc, I'm all for that. What's wrong with making a few bucks on the side?
Now, the time continuum.
All right. Well, there we are. Back to the Future 2, starring Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and pretty much everyone that was from the first movie podcast. Wait a minute. What? We can all hear you and see what you say. No, I didn't. All right. I'm back. That's the thing about podcasting, guys. It's going to have folks running in the room. But yeah, so you have pretty much everybody except for Crispin Glover and Jennifer Connelly.
Yes.
Returning. She wanted, I think she wanted more money. I think her and Crispin both. It was about money. For her, they replaced her with Elizabeth Shue, which I like Elizabeth Shue more, so I'm okay with that. But Crispin Glover, I've always been a fan of Crispin, and he successfully sued them, and because they used his likeness essentially, and so and he didn't really give them permission to do so, or they wasn't trying to compensate him for his likeness. So, which hey, good for him, man. And I really mean that. Good for him, and his people putting their foot down on that. But yeah,
I mean, it kind of is good for him, but at the same time, his career, this was the height. I would say. I hate to say I love him too. I mean, he's phenomenal. But you sue a company, I don't think Hollywood took.
Blackballed him. I say that definitely blackballed him to the point where his career was kind of shortened. He has, I ain't gonna say he's since had a resurgence. Last thing I remember him in was Hot Tub Time Machine. But before there was Willard. He and Charlie's Angel. He kind of played those creepy, weird, gothic type of roles. But I would say that his biggest claim to fame is George McFly. That's what I know him as is George McFly. So
yeah, I mean, I would hope he's proud of that too. I mean, because it's timeless. He's just as important as Doc and Marty. I mean, you don't have Back to the Future without the whole ensemble cast. I mean,
yeah. And I was thinking this watching the trailer. Then Brandon, Back to the Future is like comfort food. It's like that. just it is. It's like that kind of for me, like Goonies and stuff like that, where it's just like something you could put on and just get the nostalgia,
Yeah.
the feels, and it's very for its time. People don't realize how revolutionary that movie was as far as what they did with like
Hmm.
having on screen effects with like two Biff Tennants and two Martys and two Docs and stuff like that. Which now we see how they did those things, but back then it was pretty amazing, pretty seamless. So
Yeah. I mean, it it was weird, but it was. I don't know, it was also fun to see him, especially in the second movie, him interact with himself. Both of them, both him, Marty, and Doc, and even the Biff and was it is it Cliff?
Biff and Griff
Griff,
Tannen.
okay, Griff. Okay, that was pretty cool to see. I mean, of course today we see it all the time, but back then you're right, it was something new. I think we hadn't seen it probably since The Parent Trap in the '60s.
Yeah, Walsh, my buddy. What's up, brothers? Grace and peace to you both. Thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in. We're talking Back to the Future. Let's talk about Back to the Future 2, but we appreciate you tuning in.
Absolutely.
But yeah. So the movie starts with it picks up right where part one left off with Marty going into his garage and seeing that the truck, that his dream truck, is there. I want to bring up one thing that nobody ever talks about. So, if Marty McFly took the time machine, the DeLorean, to go back to 1955, and then he came and changed. So they was poor. That's pretty not poor, but they were pretty much under the thumb of Biff and other people before
Yeah.
he went back in time. He went back in time and then came back to the future, back to the present rather, which is 1985, and that changed. Uh, his circumstances changed, but he was still the same. He's still the same Marty, who is aware of how he was prior and I guess discovering what things are like now. But wouldn't that create like a loop of Marty McFly's going back in time and coming back to the present?
You would think so.
It would have ended with that because like didn't they kind of hint that Marty McFly is named after himself, like they named him after himself, right?
Yeah, Martin. Yeah, it's like he's. I don't think they called him Junior, but he does get called Junior at some point.
It is a very awesome franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's something that happens at the
Rest in
end
peace,
too,
brother.
where if it feels like it would have caused some kind of loop or something, or destroyed everything, because he's running into himself. Doc's running into himself. It just, I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it. I don't know. I mean, you've studied up on this more than I have, time travel and stuff. So
yeah,
I just enjoy the show. I try not to find flaws in it.
It's not really finding flaws. It's just that the time travel motif in movies is always interests me. I'm always immediately interested in something that deals with time travel because I think it's really cool concept. And if it's done really well, it's good. Like my biggest show of all time is always going to be Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is like to me the best show. My favorite show. It's like number one for me because it's just cause Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell and the cast and it was a really cool concept. So I always enjoy time like that portion of movies, and so like that's why I like Affinity War or Endgame because I thought it was really cool that they brought time travel into it. But I say that with Back to the Future, it made time travel. It took the time travel idea, it just made it fun. It's just a fun ride. Even all three films, although I didn't see the third one last night, but all three films are just as fun. So,
yeah, I agree. I think all three are very much fun films. I know part three gets criticized the most of the three films, but I think that's still a fun film. I didn't watch it last night either, but
oh, you didn't?
No,
decided
no,
not
I
to?
didn't watch it last night, but I will watch it again soon because we're gonna pick it soon. But I don't know. I feel every film is timeless, like it in this trilogy. I do. I believe that. I mean, you can even. I mean, I cannot be paying attention if it's just on and hearing it. I mean, I feel like I'm there with them when I watch it. Like, like I love the scene with Jaws 19.
Yeah.
When he goes,
you noticed it was directed by Max Spielberg.
Yeah, yeah. But I just love what Marty says. Shark still looks fake. I love that. I mean, because that was like the big thing. It's a great movie, but people criticize what the shark looked like, and I love that Spielberg. I mean, I know he didn't direct this, but he's still poking fun of himself as a producer. So I love that.
I did want to talk about. Yeah, so when they go back into they go into the future, which is October 21st, 2015, which is for us now it's the past.
Yeah.
but they went to the future at that time, and because it was about Marty's kids, his son Marty Jr. gets in trouble, and it causes a chain reaction that tore up the family, and so he goes with Marty to Doc brings Marty to the future to intercept the contact with Griff Tannen so that he wouldn't go to prison that night. And so but the future, honestly, who didn't think the future was going to look that way? When we was kids, we thought we'd have flying cars. We thought we'd have.
Still disappointed that we don't.
But I will say this: that the movie got some things right, like flat screen TVs. We have that where you can pick multiple channels. We have FaceTime where you can just talk to people via like monitor or whatnot. They had like they had Google Glasses or something like that, or which. We don't have it. Theirs was like pretty much in their house, and then but we don't have fax machines. Like that's not really a thing anymore. but for what it's worth, they got some things right, and I thought it's really cool. They almost got the Cubs winning the World Series. They almost got it. They lost that year. They came close.
You had to mention baseball. So you don't use a fax machine?
No one uses a fax machine no more.
They don't.
No, if they do, it's more of a e-fax, like done electronically, and it's sent like via like email or whatnot. But no one has like hey, let's fax this. No, that's not really a thing. Also, payphones. There's payphones in there. That's not a thing. We don't have those anymore.
I was thinking New York still had one.
Maybe for homelessness. Maybe I don't know.
Wow.
Somebody got to live somewhere. But it's sad. I'm sorry, but
you really paid attention to this movie, though. Like we don't have faxes. We don't have payphones.
Let me tell you who steals the show in this movie is Biff Tannen. Tom Wilson.
I mean, he steals pretty much every scene he's in the whole trilogy. But yeah, I agree. He's great. He's honestly my favorite character in the whole trilogy. I don't think he gets enough love because he's that bully that you end up liking. He's a terrible person, but you still like him. I can't really explain it, but I always love seeing him.
And you see that in this movie, his the reason why he does it is like his home life. He feels like essentially beat down by his grandma. He lives with his
Yeah.
grandma. We don't know what the situation was with his parents or whatnot, but he feels the need to bully. I love that Billy Zane, by the way, returned for this. I would say Billy Zane was a little, maybe not a little as big then, but he was his stardom has grown since the first film.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he returned. I love Billy Zane. I'm a huge mark for Billy Zane as well. So, but yeah, and then also Jason Scott Lee, who played Bruce Lee in the Bruce Lee movie, a biopic.
Mhm.
He's one of Griff's dudes, and then also one of the other dudes with the paint on his the like marks on his face. He is from Nightmare on Elm Street. The one he's the deaf guy who Freddy gives him the thing and
Yeah.
blows his head up. That's that guy. So I love seeing connections. I love seeing stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And then also Elijah Wood, Frodo Baggins is in this movie.
Frodo.
He's the kid at the video game. At the gun, he said, "Oh, you gotta use your hands," which that's something that they got right. Well, wrong, right and wrong, because we still have video games where we use our hands, but we also have like video games where you can just use your body and not really your hands.
Yeah, but it's a classic arcade game from where Marty was, when he grew up with. I do believe that that game.
Gunsmoke, I think Gunsmoke or Gumshoe. I remember playing it in the arcade.
Yeah, so I love that scene though. That you gotta use your hands. It's like, what did you? It's a gun. What did you think you were gonna use?
What was your thoughts on Cafe 80s?
I don't know. I mean, I liked it, but it looked a little too futuristic for me. Which 2015 did look too futuristic. With the flying cars and all that. But
remember, this was made in '89, so they
yeah,
thought
I know.
By the time we get to 2015, these things will exist. Which I'm sorry, it wasn't.
I wish it was though. But I like the cafe. I really like the zip up jacket. Like I wanted one of those. But I liked it. I mean, what was his grandson was now mayor.
Goldie Wilson Jr.
Yeah. I like that aspect of following his grandfather's footsteps. I like that family's just meant to do really good things for the communities apparently in Hill Valley. But I liked it. I don't know. It just seemed a little too futuristic for me.
Yeah. I can understand that. It does. Well, not only like the Cafe 80s seemed like they did successfully predict the resurgence of 80s nostalgia, maybe.
Yeah.
And like that was a thing. Now I think we're leaning more towards 90s nostalgia. Which the Transformers movie that's coming out is set in the 90s. Captain Marvel was set in the 90s. I'm loving stuff set in the 90s because it just reminds me of like my teenage years. But yeah, I think that I agree though. I believe that some of the stuff that they said that they try to do, like flying cars, was a little too futuristic, which is a great thing that we don't have flying cars because let's be honest, people can't drive on the ground, let alone in the air. It'd be terrible.
Can you imagine the explosions? I mean, that's a fast way to look at it, but
you're not wrong.
But not that I want to see exploding cars in the air or anything. It's just it would just be a cool experience to drive a flying car. I mean, when I watched this as a kid, that's all I wanted. I wanted a flying car when I grew up.
I want a hoverboard. Maybe the
I almost bought one, but I just don't think at my age and my condition, it'd be a very smart move.
It'd be a bad idea, man. I don't know if you have the coordination for a hoverboard, bro.
I don't have coordination for nothing. So,
but so they go to Marty's house to bring because Jennifer, uh, they knock Jennifer out, and Jennifer gets taken home, and which at their house they encounter not George, not a different actor playing George, but they did a really good conceal where you didn't know.
Yeah.
And just the house there was pretty cool with like the little pizza. Now we don't have that, but we do have air fryers. Kind of does it work? We got some things, but yeah, I thought it was really cool, man. But the main thing is Biff Tannen goes back into the past to take that almanac to younger Biff Tannen so that he can become rich. So whenever they leave 2015 and go back to 1985, they actually go to a alternate 1985 where Biff Tannen has gotten rich and wealthy, and George is dead, and Doc is being committed. So yeah. I want to mention something. This is another paradox. So, had Doc been committed immediately, George, if Doc has been committed, the time machine wouldn't have been created.
That's right.
Biff Tannen then wouldn't have been able to go back to the past to give younger Biff the book. So everything would have been undone because Doc himself wouldn't have created the time machine. So nothing would have happened if he'd been committed.
Absolutely. There is so many different timelines. I don't know if you've ever read the comics or not. Oh my Lord. So many different timelines they go through.
I heard something about it. I heard in one of the comics, didn't Biff Tannen get killed by Griff Tannen? I heard that Biff goes back, like he gets Doc's time machine and goes back. Well, he tries to go to do something, but Doc sends him back into 1885, on purpose, and he encounters Griff Tannen, who shoots him.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't read that one. The one I read, he went back to the dinosaur age. That's where he first went. He didn't go back to 1955. Yeah, he went all the way back by accident. But I just, like I said, there's so many timelines in the ones I've read. It's crazy. Like Uncle Joey, he gets out of prison in one of the comics, and they go on a little adventure to try to get back to current day, which is 1985 for Marty. But yeah, I mean, I really wish this wouldn't have ended as a trilogy. There's so many adventures they could have took, man. And I really, and I know they wouldn't do it today with Michael's condition, and now Christopher Lloyd's like what in the 70s, maybe 80s.
Yeah,
it's just, and no one wants to see anybody else take over the roles. So
I beg to differ. This is me as a diehard fan. I would love to see. Honestly, the only person I see can take over the Marty would be Tom Holland. I can see Tom Holland doing the Marty McFly type of character. To do Doc, I can honestly see. I'm trying to think of someone that comes across. I would say a Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey could pull it off as a Doc Brown. I can see Jim do it.
And he could do it, but
yeah. I mean, they can put their own spin on it. They don't have to be cosplaying as these characters, but just adapt it for a different time. Maybe not go back into 85. Maybe have this take place in 1995 or something like that, and then they go to a different time frame, or I think that it'd be kind of cool to see, something. Maybe even more, like, well, they already shot themselves in the foot by introducing Marty Jr. as this numbskull. But it'd be cool if they could have set it up as like Tom Holland is Marty Jr. Something like that, and he gets the time machine, and then maybe Emmett's one of Emmett's kids from the West, from the third. I don't know. It's like, because I think it all should flow. If you're gonna do it, I think it should flow.
Yeah,
not a straight reboot, but like a soft, like a requel.
But do you really think people be okay with that?
I would be. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know I would. Yeah, I love the franchise that much. I would be
Yeah,
okay
I
with
mean, I
it.
love it too. It's just hard to see someone else truly take over the roles of Doc and Marty. But I mean, if it happened and you got everyone else to agree to appear, like I would go see it. I give it a chance, but I don't know. I don't know if the rest of the world would want it to
They probably
continue
wouldn't.
without the.
I
But
would. I wouldn't say like even if you have Marty uh, Matthew J. Fox, Michael J. Fox rather. Even if you have Michael J. Fox do a quick little cameo like that he's able to do or
yeah,
something, I think that it'd be great. I know his Parkinson's supposedly is getting worse, and which is unfortunate.
yeah,
Um, like last movie I seen him in was that Netflix movie. It's a time travel movie. He pops up as a teacher, and it excited me to see him. And I thought, oh, he's in this movie. That's great. But it was only just a real quick one and done type of thing. But yeah, uh, it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I think that um, I think that it would be great to see another movie. Um, but like I won't hold my breath because this is such a beloved property. It's like Goonies. I love seeing another Goonies, but it has to be done right.
yeah. I don't know how you
I think the
do.
moment is past for Goonies though. I literally think the moment is past. I think it would make no sense to do another Goonies.
I just don't know how you would do another Goonies. I mean, I mean, it just so much. I mean, I think they're too old
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of them, and I don't trust Corey Feldman to be a good version of Mouth today. If you see even some of his films he's done in the recent years, you just be like, man, he's lost it.
Yeah,
he's not very good. He's not a very good actor anymore.
yeah,
So I
agree. And I blame that on himself, and I blame it on Hollywood and some of the stuff that he went through.
yeah,
But yeah, but as far as Back to the Future, like two is going to be always held as like the legendary. Like for the most people always say, "Oh, I like two more than one." I would disagree with that. I like one over two because I think Back to the Future one just sets the stage for everything. And you had Crispin Glover, who was excellent, and I can identify with him as George McFly because of sometimes I lack confidence and I don't want to just question and have anxiety and stuff like that, which he did, But
yeah,
and then you root for him when he beats the bully, and so
yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
get your damn hands off of her. But yeah, I think that I don't know, man. Um, I think this movie was fun though. I loved. I don't really have anything negative. Now I did see some scenes, like whereas it's not now. It hasn't aged well. Like some of the effects you can see, especially in like with the two of them on screen. Like when Marty was playing Johnny Be Good,
Yeah,
and they was on the stage on the side angle, you can tell that it was kind of a cutout. It wasn't really, him.
yeah,
It's him, but it was. You can tell that it was like a copy and paste type of thing where he was cut into the scene. And it didn't look as good, but I mean, I have no bad thoughts about this movie.
yeah. I mean, I don't either. I really like it. I don't. I don't think I like it as much as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure I like it as much as the third one. Like the third one's really grown on me over the years, but I still love it. But for me, every time I watch this movie, I just kind of want to stay in 1955. Like
Yeah.
there's something about Hill Valley in 1955 that I just want to stay there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with honestly. You know what? And I never thought about it that way. Uh, you, it's like so when we go to the 2015, you're like, oh, it's kind of cool seeing some of the stuff,
Yeah,
But then once they what you hate it when they go to alternate 85 because it just feels like, to me, it sucks the energy out of the film in that little moment. But once they go back to 1955, it feels like it's like seeing an old friend. It's like, you like
Yeah.
seeing how they kind of manage the scenes and everything. And I thought that they did a really great job with shooting and showing different angles. Just like it's well done. For like 1989, it was really well done.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one thing I will say about the alternate 85, for me, rewatching it and seeing Biff, he got Lorraine, finally got her. But he's also got other side chicks, you know? It's like he wanted this girl so bad in high school. He finally gets her, but he's still not satisfied. No matter what he gets, he's never going to be satisfied.
And she's really unhappy. Would you say
Yeah.
that Lorraine? Would you say that Lorraine? Because in the original 1985, in the alternate 1985, before Marty goes back into the past and back into the present, Lorraine was unhappy, it seems, in both lives. But would you say she is more unhappy with the Biff Tannen 1985 than she was with the George 1985?
Yeah, I would say when it starts in the first one, she's unhappy, but I feel she's unhappy because her marriage is just boring. With Biff, she's unhappy. She's got all kinds of money, but she knows that Biff, he's corrupt, and she knows. I feel she knows that he killed George. She can't get out. She's stuck.
She's
So
stuck.
I feel she's a lot more unhappier with Biff than she was originally.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else you want to talk about before we?
I mean, I guess the way it ended, the cliffhanger, because I wanted to bring this up because I know we both saw Spider-Man this weekend.
Oh, which was excellent, by the way. Did you watch it?
Yeah,
you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it last Saturday. But we don't get too many cliffhangers in films. Did you like the cliffhanger in Back to the Future 2, how it ended? Setting up that third movie, or
at the time, no. At the time, honestly, at the time, I didn't, because I could tell. Obviously, you could tell that they've already shot the third one.
Yeah.
Because they shot it at the same time, and I was like, "Oh, they already shot it. I'm ready to see it." Because I know back then when I seen the second one, it's not that I was going to the movies to see the third one. Like, I had to wait for it to be on like TV, so it's going to be some time before I even see it. So I kind of wanted to see it then. So and speaking of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, is the same thing. I honestly, I was ready. I was ready to see. I forgot that they was going to do a trilogy. I forgot that. So whenever it came up on the screen, I was like, "Oh!" Like it was 2 hours long, but it didn't feel like it to me. I really was. I could do it, watch more of it. Honestly, that's how I felt.
Yeah, as far as Spider-Man goes, with the cliffhanger, there was a girl behind me and Dawson. She's like, all that build up for that. And she hated it. She hated the cliffhanger. Me personally, I love cliffhangers. I wish we get more of them. Of course, I understand we don't. And the reason certain films just don't do well. And then you're stuck with an unfinished project. But, I mean, I love the cliffhanger in Back to the Future 2 because it got me excited to watch 3, And
it did. I can.
And
agree.
I like that they did it in Spider-Man because now I'm really excited to see how this trilogy is going to end.
I will say this though about the cliffhanger and then the teaser trailer for Back to the Future 3. I would say that in that teaser trailer, it shows you the whole movie essentially. It shows you like I even noticed a scene where you see Marty in his Western gear on the porch with Jennifer, and so you see that he made it back there. Kind of dirty. He done made it back. You see, it shows you a lot, Which if you haven't seen the movie, you maybe not even notice it. But me knowing the movie and seeing it, I noticed that stuff. But it did kind of whet your palate into wanting to see the third one, like
Yeah.
and like if they would have did the same thing with Into the Spider Across the Spider Verse, where they would have showed you like scenes from the next one. I'm glad they didn't do that because, like the way that movie left you, it left you wanting more, which it's a sign of a great movie. Like that movie was just a stellar film. It was great to look at. The visuals, like the Gwen's world was excellent. The way that it just changed, like with the emotions, I thought it was just beautiful. But yeah,
I got upset at Across the Spider Verse one time because I was just waiting for Peter to show up, and I just thought it was taking a little too long for him to finally show up. But once he does, I mean, I love Josh. What's his name?
Schwartzman.
No, that's Miguel. The guy from New Girl. He plays Peter.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, yeah, that dude.
I love him as
Nick from New Girl.
Yeah, I love him as this Peter Parker. Like it's magic. And I didn't even know the whole story to can't think of his name.
Well, now you froze up on me.
What's his name? The Spider-Man.
Which one? There's like 100 of them.
The main character.
Miles.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't know his whole story. And I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't seen it, but I never knew that. That it wasn't. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Without saying it, I didn't know his whole story.
Yeah.
So that I found that very interesting. But
yeah, I felt like oh man, I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, it's if you haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse, I recommend you watch it. Even though Transformers come out this week, go watch it. It's like really a good movie. Don't get caught up on it being animated. You really forget that it's animated. For me, and I just seen a movie. I just seen cinema. I didn't see like a cartoon or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, Back to the Future 3. It's not the most loved out of all of them, but it's still loved for those that are hardcore fans of the trilogy.
And if you are a diehard fan, when you see the DeLorean, what happens to it? It breaks your heart. It does. I mean, there's some good moments. It's kind of cheesy, but I don't know. I really like it. It grows on me every time because it's the last adventure between Doc and Marty. I mean,
I was gonna say this. It spawned Rick and Morty. So Rick and Morty is essentially a show based on the adventures of Doc and Marty, and very similar, but it's just more adult and just weird. Which I love. I love Rick and Morty. It's like one of my favorite shows on TV. But yeah, it's just so weird, and I love just random weird shows. Yeah, I do. I really do. Uncle Grandpa is another one. Just random and weird, but I love it. Just so weird. I don't know what the heck. Who thought of this? It's weird. But
weird title for a show, Uncle Grandpa.
Uncle Grandpa, and he talks like this. But yeah. But yes, Brandon, that just happened. You ready to give your marks for this?
Yeah. I'll go ahead. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 on the mark out meter. He's doing Booker T.
I'm doing Booker T. 5, same.
I almost went rock on you, Booker. Thomas I ain't gonna do it.
Don't do that. Don't try it. But yeah, I go 5 as well.
2 + 2 = Thomas Jefferson, sucker.
So stupid.
I know, it's great though.
I love it. That's why I love you, Brandon. You just random.
Random and weird.
Random and weird. That's what the podcast should be called. Random and weird. The movie podcast. Who's random? Who's weird?
Aaron's random. I'm weird.
Welcome to the podcast.
It's true.
Hey, we might rebrand it. Anyway, that'd be a good name actually. Anyway, we're a movie podcast. But anyway, yeah, uh, same thing. 5. I thought it was a great movie. My only thing is, I wish Crispin Glover was in it.
Yeah.
I like Crispin. I don't miss Jennifer. Whatever. So
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Like, I liked her as Marty's girlfriend in the first movie. I don't know. In the sequel, Elizabeth Shoes, she's fine. Don't get me wrong. It's just she don't have a lot to do.
she don't have a lot to do. She's more of Elizabeth. I would say Elizabeth Shue was like fresh off a Karate Kid.
Yeah.
And maybe
Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah,
Babysitting too.
And so she's kind of there. She never was a big name, but for me, I just love Elizabeth Shue. But I always thought it was jarring seeing her as Jennifer, because we know that it's not the original Jennifer. That's something where when shows do that or movies do that, they try to convince you that this is that character. You're like, no, it ain't.
Yeah. And, last time I seen it done was probably Hatchet. When Danielle Harris took over the role.
Yeah.
But I prefer Danielle over that girl. Kind of like how you prefer Elizabeth Shue over whoever.
Connelly?
There you go. Is it Jennifer Connelly?
Jennifer, I don't know. Jennifer something.
Okay. Well, she plays a Jennifer, so.
She looks like a Jennifer. But
she kind of does.
Anyway, she give me Jennifer vibes. But yeah. All right. So that's it for the Back to the Future this week. Next week, we will be doing 8 Days a Week. It's a random movie that I loved. And I want to do a summer movie is what my reasoning is. I want to pick a couple of movies dealing with summer. And so 8 days a week.
8 days a week. I got to be honest. I have no idea what this is.
And there you are. Kerry Russell's in it. I'll give you that.
Okay. I know who she is. I think she was kind of big in the 2000s, right?
She's Felicity. She's
okay. I haven't seen it, but I own it. So
yeah,
of course I do.
Felicity?
I've never seen it.
Is it a Kevin Williamson show? Is that why you own it?
I just figured it was like One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek, and
You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong.
It looks like one of those shows, and it is a CW show. So
early CW, when it's in that stage.
Yeah,
that stage of CW. But
I prefer that stage, but over what they're doing today.
They were good then. They were there. I noticed. By the way, before we end this, I noticed in watching like one or two episodes of like the Gilmore Girls. I never really watched it. I watched like 1 or 2 episodes. Jenny McCarthy's in it. Not Jenny, but Melissa McCarthy. But I noticed that so many of these people that were in those shows carried over to other stuff later on. Like both Sam and Dean was in like different little shows on the CW before they was on Stranger Things.
Sam was in Gilmore Girls. Dean was in Dawson's Creek.
Yeah,
and he did one of the.
Well, I think he did he not do Smallville? Maybe he's in Smallville somewhere.
He wasn't one of them. I don't know. I mean,
I feel like somebody was, but yeah, I just noticed that a lot of people kind of carried over. But
yeah, all
right. But yeah, we're gonna watch 8 Days a Week next week, which is on, I think it's on Tubi or some free. You can find it. If you don't have it, then
I have Tubi.
I call it Audible. So,
but man, you really went. You looked for this movie apparently.
Yeah. I was like, what is that movie? It's done by the same dude that did 100 Girls. Hey, you remember that?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Like he meets a girl on a train or something.
He meets a girl in the elevator during the
elevator. Okay, yeah, I've seen it once.
It's free on Amazon Prime and Roku channel if you have Roku channel.
I don't have Roku, but I do have Amazon.
But yeah, all right. So that's it for this week, Brandon. What do you want the people to do?
If you enjoyed this episode, we would really appreciate it if you click that like button and click that subscribe button. to try to get us up there, you know, up.
And also comment. Tell us what you thought about Back to the Future. Which one did you like? 1, 2, or 3? Do you want to see another Back to the Future movie? If you have any suggestions for us to review, we always review your suggestions as long as it is appropriate. We don't do things inappropriate. It's the family show. So, but yeah, you can always hit us up on the Mark Out Movie podcast Facebook channel. I'm saying that we do horror, we do things like that, but we're not going to do like
we don't do porn. That's where we draw the line.
That's where we draw the line. We don't do that.
That should be a short right there.
It might have to be, but he's stupid. All right, we thank you. We thank you for marking out with us here on the Mark Out Movie podcast. See you next week. Peace.